Hi and welcome to ExtraSci. This is Life Sciences Grade 10. We're still in Module 1 looking at life at a molecular, cellular and tissue level. We now move over to Unit 5, Organs. Under organs, we'll only be looking at that dicotyledonous leaf. It's the only organ that we'll be concerned with for now in Grade 10. So, the dicotyledonous leaf. So, what is a dicotyledonous leaf? So first, the word dicotyledonous means two cotyledons. This is a cotyledon and this is a cotyledon. Two cotyledons are a dicotyledon. So what are cotyledons? Cotyledons are seeds. The bin, it has two cotyledons. So this is called a dicotyledonous plant and as dicotyledonous leaves. We'll be studying the dicotyledonous leaf as an organ. So organs are groups of different tissues that perform a specific or a common function. Dicotyledons are plants that consist of two seeds. And in this section, we'll be looking at the function of a leaf, the external leaf, and then we'll look at the internal. Starting off with the functions of the leaf, looking at movement in and out of the leaf. The first form of movement is the movement of sugar. This is the movement of glucose made via photosynthesis used to make simple sugar, sucrose, which is then transported to the rest of the plant through the phloem or converted to starch and stored in the leaf. So the first substance that moves in and out of the leaf is sucrose. Sucrose is manufactured in the leaf and is moved out of the leaf by the phloem. You do know that the phloem takes nutrients from the leaf to the rest of the plant. So one of those nutrients is sucrose, and sucrose is moving out of the leaf in the movement of sugar. Another thing that moves in and out of the leaf is water. Water is moving inside of the leaf. So the movement of water from the xylem into the leaf is maintained because water molecules constantly evaporate into the atmosphere through transpiration. So the leaves are always undergoing transpiration and the water in the leaves is always evaporating into the atmosphere. So water is always needed into the leaf to replace the water that was lost through transpiration. And the third thing that is moving in and out of the leaf is gaseous exchange. So during gaseous exchange, we are talking about oxygen and carbon dioxide. This is the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, when the chloroplast absorbs radiant energy from the sun. It also absorbs carbon dioxide and releases oxygen as a byproduct. The plant can use some of this oxygen from photosynthesis for cellular respiration. So during photosynthesis, the chloroplast is absorbing radiant energy from the sun, and the leaf is also absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and releases oxygen as a byproduct. So this is gaseous exchange. So the gases are moving in and out of the leaf. So we have three things that are moving in and out of the leaf. Sugar is mainly moving out of the leaf, water is mainly moving into the leaf, and during gaseous exchange, carbon dioxide is moving into the leaf and oxygen is moving out of the leaf. So now let us look at the external structure of the leaf, the naked leaf. I call it the naked leaf because this is the leaf that you can see with your naked eye. So starting outward, this is the whole leaf itself. So all of this is the leaf. And then we have the petiole. The petiole is this hard structure of the leaf that you will usually hold the leaf by. And then at the top there, we have what is called the apex of the leaf. And then moving inside, firstly we have our main vein. This one running across the leaf straight from the petiole to the apex is called the main vein, and these moving from the main vein to the sides are called the side veins. And then up here in the area in between the main veins, all of this area in between the main veins is called the lamina. So we have the petiole, from the petiole going up the main vein to the apex, and then from the sides of the main vein we have the side veins, and then in between the side veins we have the lamina. So all of this is our representation of the leaf as viewed with the naked eye. So now let us look at the internal leaf, the microscopic leaf, the leaf that we can see through a microscope. So we studied a microscope, we know how a microscope works. So this is what you see when you're looking at a leaf through a microscope. This is the two-dimensional representation, and this is the three-dimensional representation. As you can see, again, we have numbers here. Do you remember when we did cells and I showed you the animal cell? I had one with numbers, I had one with labelings. Again, I'm having one with numbers, I'm having one with labelings. You know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to mix and match these two, try and match all of these labelings with all of this numbering. So basically the leaf is a collection of tissues such as the epidermis, mesophyll, and the vascular bundles. There is our upper epidermis and there is our lower epidermis again. So here it says that the epidermis is both the lower and upper covering layer of the leaf, and it protects the leaf. It is transparent and allows sunlight to pass through to the internal parts of the leaf. So sunlight has to pass through because it is required for photosynthesis, and photosynthesis happens internally in the leaf. So it is transparent, allowing the light to pass through to the internal parts. It's also covered by a waxy layer called the cuticle, which is waterproof waxy layer and prevents the leaf from losing water. So this is our cuticle. This is our transparent waterproof cuticle. There it is again. It is said that it is transparent, it's a waxy layer, and prevents the leaf from losing water. So it prevents it from drying out. The lower part has a stoma, which has guard cells that open and close, allowing for gaseous exchange during photosynthesis and respiration. We discussed the stoma and its guard cells during plant tissues. We are discussing it again now because these plant tissues make up the leaf now. So this is our stoma and these are our two guard cells. The stoma is an opening where gases can enter and exit. Remember we said that the movement of the leaf, we were talking about gaseous exchange. We said gaseous exchange, movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide during photosynthesis. All of this movement is happening through our stoma. So our carbon dioxide and oxygen are moving through the stoma. The carbon dioxide enters here, the oxygen is released from this opening here. The guard cells will open and close, allowing for it to enter. So once they are open, the carbon dioxide can enter. Once it is closed, nothing can enter and nothing can exit. Moving over to the mesophyll now. So there's two types of mesophyll. There's the palisade mesophyll and the spongy mesophyll layer. So let's look at those now. This right here is our palisade mesophyll. These ones that look almost like they're rectangular, they are the palisade. And these that look round, they are the spongy mesophylls. There they are again. This is our palisade mesophyll and this is our spongy mesophyll. The palisade layer consists of elongated, thin-walled cells that contain a large number of chloroplasts, enabling them to absorb the sunlight for photosynthesis. They are tightly packed next to each other without air spaces, ensuring a large surface area that is exposed to the sun, and the thin walls make diffusion easier. The spongy layer consists of round cells that are loosely packed with larger spaces in between them, allowing for gas exchange. So let's look at that. It said that these ones are tightly packed and these ones are loosely packed. So these ones are placed close together and these ones are placed far apart. So why are these close together? It's because we need to use all of the space that is available so that when the sun rays enter, see, imagine that the sun rays was coming from this side. See, the sun rays will be absorbed here, but they won't be absorbed there. But since the sun rays are coming from the top and there is no space in between here, all of the sun's rays will be absorbed. And it is said that it has thin walls. So look at these walls here and look at these walls here. So these walls are said to be thinner than those because here there's like a lot of chloroplasts. As you can see, there's been labeled that this is a chloroplast, this is also a chloroplast, this is also a chloroplast. So there's a lot of them. They are all absorbing the sun. So it is said that there's a lot of them and then it is very thin, the cell walls, because this is where our photosynthesis is happening. And so we said that the stoma is taking in this carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. So once this carbon dioxide enters, it goes up. This is the air spaces, it stays in air spaces. Once it is needed, it will move in here. This has to be thin because it has to be so easy for the carbon dioxide to enter and it has to be so easy for oxygen to exit. So this has been made very thin for that purpose. These have much thicker walls because they are not responsible for photosynthesis because the sun is coming from the top. So the top part has to be responsible for photosynthesis. So the spongy layer consists of round cells. They are loosely packed. They have larger spaces because they are more responsible for gas exchange. Because photosynthesis happens when the sun is there, right? Remember that we said photosynthesis needs the sunlight, it needs oxygen, it needs carbon dioxide, it needs water. So what happens at night? Because there's no sunlight. You have oxygen, you have carbon dioxide, you have water, you don't have any sunlight. So all of that carbon dioxide that is entering has to be stored in the air spaces. So we need the air spaces so that our leaf does not get damaged from all of that intake of carbon dioxide. Moving over to the vascular bundles now. We did talk about the vascular bundles when we were studying tissues. We said that they are the xylem and the phloem. So these ones are the xylem and the phloem of the leaf and they are continuous with those of the roots. The xylem transports water from the roots to the leaf through osmosis. So osmosis is the movement of water from a region of high concentration to a region of low concentration, just like diffusion. But osmosis is when we are concerned with H2O molecules, when we are concerned with water molecules. This is the xylem transporting that water from the roots all the way up to the leaves. And then now the phloem is transporting the nutrients that have been manufactured during photosynthesis from the leaf to the rest of the plant. Because all that the leaf does is photosynthesis. It's what the leaf is responsible for. So up there in our palisade, we are looking at photosynthesis. It's photosynthesizing. When it has photosynthesized, it has formed sucrose. You remember that sugar, sucrose. So the sucrose will then move to our vascular bundles. It will move to our phloem. Once it reaches the phloem, it has to go to the rest of the plant because the nutrients are required by the rest of the plant. They are required by the stem. They are required by the roots. So the phloem is moving these nutrients that are manufactured in the leaf to the rest of the plant, and our xylem is taking the water and the minerals from the roots, moving them all the way up to the leaf so that the leaf has nutrients necessary to manufacture sucrose. That's all for this video.